Okay, so before I show you Thor's hammer squat, or the pippin squat, or the ankles squat, or the loaded kneeling squat, or the curtsy twist squat, I need to kind of set the table for what it is we're doing, because there's an old way of thinking about squatting, there's a new way of thinking about squatting, and there's a hybrid of something in between. And I don't know which school you're from, but I want to hopefully show you some new stuff that you maybe haven't seen today, give you some good reasons as to why you should be trying some of these squats. Welcome to the Anatomy of Therapy. I'm Dr. John Cybulski. This is Squat Every Day, and today we're talking about natural bodybuilding. We're talking about weird variations of squats. We're talking about the correct form, the wrong form, which is the right way, what is it that you should do. Let me answer all of your questions today. But before we do, again, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, help people find the channel. Leave a comment below. I've got some controversial squats here I'm going to show you today. So if you have questions about them, let me know and we can get into it. But first of all, I want to set the table before we get into these squats. This is the pippin squat you're looking at right now, and I'll explain everything, I swear to you. But before I do, like I said, let me set the table. There was a time that is actually kind of coming back right now, okay? There's an old strongman school of thought that was here before machines existed. And this is kind of the turn of bodybuilding, where Arnold Schwarzenegger made very popular bodybuilding. It kind of came into the forefront. But before that, there were strongmen, and they would do all these different lifts because they didn't have machines. And once the advent of machines came around, it started to change the way we worked out. Now, a lot of people are stuck on machines which almost force a perfect form. And that's kind of what I am, maybe you've seen on this channel, we talk about the right way to do things, the wrong way to do things. There is a school of thought that says if you do not do your exercise perfectly, then you will hurt yourself. This is not true. This couldn't be any further from the truth. There's a whole other school of thought. It's this old strongman lift camp coming back where they do lifts like this, is the ankle crossover squat. We'll talk about this in a second, where they talk about how you need to lift in somewhat compromised positions. Slowly and gradually. We talked about this with the knees over toes guy review video. Go watch that. I'll put a link to it probably. I'll forget. But you need gradual exposure to your body, to build your body naturally. If you are not naturally bodybuilding, your body will attack you. So you need to build up your body so it doesn't attack you. So don't be afraid to work out in some of these odd positions. Know that today we're going to go through some odd lifts. This is DJ Murakami of Strong Camps. Go support him. He's a local guy. He's got great programs. His Instagram is @StrongCamps. DJ Murakami. He loves the axle. You can see that thing on his back. That's the axle bar, which is the way that old strongmen kind of lifted. So there would be no extra bars. They would just have the Olympic bar and they would just lift. Anyways, there's a new school of thought. After machines came around, they said the machines are here. So what we do is we lift perfectly. Okay, we do perfect form all the time, and that's how we get strong. That's a new way of thinking. There's an old way of thinking that was around for a very long time. Goes all the way back to the Turkish Ottoman Empire, where they were doing Turkish get-ups. You need to be able to work out weird, okay? That's all I'm saying. The longest intro ever. Let's get into it today. What should we start with? Let's go with the easiest one, and then we'll go to the hardest one, okay? So the easiest one, now that we've set the table, is this twist. So we start with our legs out wider than our shoulders. And what you're going to do is bring this knee in. This leg is your stability leg, okay? And my clothes are done, so I will do the laundry here in a second. Okay, so you'll see DJ just bringing this leg in. We are twisting and shifting into this hip. He's keeping an upright torso. He's bending over this side. It's totally fine. But this is basically a one-legged squat. So this is for the people who say, do not let your knee go in when you squat. Do not keep your body twisted when you squat. You need to stay upright and straight. No, you need to work out in weird positions. I would say maybe DJ's got a lot of weight here. If you don't have this much weight, that's fine. Again, with all of these, we're talking about gradual progression. This is a twisty squat. You can just twist right into it. It is very good so that you can get a lot of glute activity on this right side. You're going to get a lot of quad activity, and this leg is going to become more mobile. This is going with the way that the body likes to work. One side stable, one side mobile, and you are keeping a nice tight core. That's one thing that DJ actually does very well. Brace. Breathe in, brace, then move. This is a principle that's been with strongmen and weightlifting for a long time. But once you've breathed in and braced your torso and your spine, don't be afraid to move and twist your hips a bit. Okay, let's go to the second one. We're going to work through these a little bit quicker now. Mr. Murakami. So he's picked this weight up off the ground. I cut that part out, but he puts it up over his back like all good strong men do. God bless you, DJ. And then he's going to squat forward, let the knees come down, bring those hips up, go back, and then all the way back to the top. Right? Okay, so let's talk about what we've got to do. A, he's got to be able to pick up this weight. That bar is probably more than 45 pounds. I don't know how heavy the axle bar is. That's a 35 and that's a 25. It's really not that heavy. It's really about the movement. So going down into the squat, we're going to get to the bottom of the squat, normal squat, and then allowing your knees to go forward. We've talked about this with knees over the toes guy all the time. This is also going to undo, like that thumbnail, it's going to undo the tilt in the pelvis, right? And that's okay. He's still keeping a tight shoulders and upper body, but at the same time learning to let go of his hips. And then he's going to rock back. This is controlling your weight shift back and forward. So people who talk about having a neutral pelvis all the time, fine. If you are going to PR and you're going to do your biggest lift ever, fine. Go ahead and make sure your pelvis stays perfectly tight, your spine stays perfectly tight. But if you have a lower amount of weight, maybe we should work out those somewhat compromising positions and get strong at some kind of not less than ideal orthopedically perfect movement. Okay, on to the next one. And this one is going to break some brains. Also, so he's holding it in the Zercher position, which is kind of the curl position. Classic strongman. We're sitting with our legs locked and crisscross applesauce. This is going to put a lot of strain on the outside of the feet, the outside of the ankles. This will bulletproof your ankles from ankle sprains. This is going to require a lot of external rotation. Hold on, back up here. Let's see the whole thing actually. A lot of external rotation. He stands up and the hips twist and then he goes right back down into it. Dude, impressive. Love it. If you guys like this stuff, let me know. I found a bunch of weird exercises like this, and I love them, and I love breaking them down. You need to be able to do stuff like this. If you like this, leave a comment below. Hit the like button. Smash all that stuff. We got a podcast. Listen to it too. And then he'll go up again. You want to be able to crisscross the legs one way and then crisscross them the opposite way as well, because there's a twist of the hips, and this will actually untwist your hips. It's actually a nice squat to do without the weight. It's a fun test. I believe there is a Brazilian longevity test actually that had this as one of their tests for longevity. If you could get up off the ground, that's when people get old, they fall down and then they can't get up. So one of the things is being able to get up off the ground. It's a fundamental human thing that you should be able to do. Sometimes people can't be able to do it. Work on the ankles crossed squat. Okay, moving on. This is the pippin squat. This is a classic way that strongmen have lifted weights for a long, long time. I mean, when Arnold Schwarzenegger started, he had to lift weights up like this. They'd pull the weights up onto the back, hinge over. Sweet Lord. Get it, buddy. You can do it. And then once he secures that, you're going to keep the weight forward and then squat right up and down. This is the pippin squat. It's a classic strongman squat. Is this good for your back? Absolutely. If you have a strong back, okay? Maybe you start with just the bar and you build into this kind of weight. Maybe we're not all as strong as DJ is, but this is the pippin squat. You need to know that it exists. We're trying to broaden your horizons. Novelty. Welcome to it. Okay, this is my favorite one. This is the Thor's hammer squat, okay? So we have, again, the axle rod. Right? Where are my dang arrows? We got the axle rod. We got one hand back, one hand forward. He does it in alternate positions, and he sits back well into his hips. This means you got to sit way back into your hips. He's going to lift it right up, and then he's going to stand up, come back down, and then set it down. Then we're going to switch arms. We're going to rotate the position of the arms, going the exact opposite way. Sweet Lord, that does not look easy. Whew. And then he sets it back down because he's tired. The Thor squat, I mean, this is for my brother-in-law, Wes. I saw him working out in the woods the other day like Primal Man. DJ, he reminded me of DJ Murakami here at Strong Camps. Go check him out. This is the Thor's hammer lift. Lift weird stuff. Ooh, do we have any more? No, that's the last one. Look, you do not have to do things orthopedically perfect each time, okay? Please develop a range and a variety and variability in your movement, in your squats. Know that you don't have to do everything perfect. You can even train a little bit sloppy if you train with the right load, and then build on that load like DJ kind of has here. If you liked what you saw, if you want to see more weird videos like this, please tell me in the comments below. Otherwise, we're going to go back to the boring stuff. I'm just kidding. They're all great. But I love weird exercises like this. They are a charm for me. I'll tell you probably my favorite one here. This first one, the curtsy twist squat, is really, really good for healthy hips. People will say, hey, my hips are twisted. Guess what? You can untwist your hips with this squat. Say you got a high hip, you got a low hip on one side. This is lowering this hip on one side. It's opening up the back on this side, and it's strengthening this side. Couldn't like this exercise more. He's got a bunch more that I want to show you guys. Maybe we'll do another one of these natural bodybuilding episodes of squat every day. Thank y'all so much for watching. What do you think of all these weird lifts? Which one are you going to try? Which one are you definitely not going to try? Which one do you need to work on? Comment below. Let me know. I got to go do my laundry. Peace.